Welcome to episode 4 of the Escaping Normal podcast. I have Sara here with me this afternoon. She's an exciting young entrepreneur making her name in the cryptocurrency world. But what got my attention was not this. When I came across her on social media, her sheer confidence was something I've never seen before. So I thought, this is someone I've got to have a chat with. She is going to do something extremely special one day. So, Sara, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
So, as I mentioned, your confidence shows through. You strike me as someone that's extremely sure of yourself. You know exactly what you want. Now, where does that come from?
Thank you, first of all. I don't know, honestly. I was telling you earlier, I have a fear of public speaking. But I challenged myself and it stopped being my fear, honestly. But I wasn't very confident growing up. I was very insecure because I got hated on a lot and I got bullied in school because I'm not, the typical Arab, you could say. Or I'm not I'm not boxed in the category of the average person, you could say. So
what makes you say that? Because you look pretty Arab to me.
Yeah, I look Arab, but I'm not fully Arab. I'm Palestinian, Syrian, but my mom is half Polish and I was born and raised in Japan. So I have a Japanese nationality. So basically growing up when I went to schools, that was kind of not normal. And kids, how they are ignorant and stupid.
So where did you go to school?
In Saudi.
You went to school in Saudi?
And here as well.
Yeah. And so then Japan, how did that?
Like nursery and kindergarten.
Okay.
Really, so it was fine. I had great childhood growing up in Japan, but when we moved to Saudi, I went to a school with a bunch of Arabs for the first time.
Okay.
From different nationalities.
Oh, because obviously they're in Japan, you would have been.
Yeah,
were you the only sort of Arab in Japan, or was it like a bunch of different sort of nationalities or very Japanese?
No, it was. I think we were the 1% population of Arabs because I didn't live in Tokyo. I lived in Fukui, which is on the countryside. So it's mostly Japanese people. There aren't that many foreigners. I think I can remember there was only 1 or 2 other nationalities that were not Arab.
Okay.
So I think one was American, if I'm not mistaken.
What were you doing in Japan? How come you were there?
My dad was studying his PhD there, so I was born and raised there and grew up there. My childhood was there, so.
Okay, so your dad's a doctor?
No, he's not a doctor. He's an engineer, but he has a PhD in mechanical engineer.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so they moved there to do that. And then, so what made him sort of move across to Saudi? I would assume because Saudi was starting to...
Yeah, to boom. It was starting to boom. It was a good opportunity back then, even now, honestly. But my dad's goal was to move us into a Muslim country or an Arab Muslim country. So growing up in Japan, as a Muslim, it's a bit difficult. It has its challenges. So he wanted to move us into a more Muslim country. Yeah. Basically.
So you moved across there with your family at the time, your mum, your dad.
My siblings, yeah.
And where in Saudi were you guys living?
In the first 3 years, we lived in Jeddah. And then the second 2 years, we lived in Dammam or Khobar,
Okay.
A bit more cool area because Aramco's there. And it was full of American people there back at the time, yeah. So we lived, I mentioned to you, we lived in a compound there.
Yeah.
So life was a bit more chill.
Yeah.
But in Jeddah, because we lived in an apartment and, we were just school, home, school. And then in the weekend, we'd just go to the mall and that was it really. It was very boring.
Yeah.
Nothing interesting. Yeah.
And I'm sure, we sort of discussed, being a woman in Saudi Arabia sort of back then, it's not quite it's not now, it's not even how Dubai is.
Yeah, it's completely different. Yeah. No, back then when we used to live there, women were not driving. I remember to school the first year or so, we had a driver pick us up from the school because my dad's work schedule didn't allow him to pick us up. And my mom obviously couldn't drive because driving there was illegal for women. Driver would pick us up and drop us off. And it was really that.
They changed that recently though, didn't they?
Yeah, a couple of years
Only
ago.
a couple of years ago that now women can drive and like
Yeah,
got a
yeah,
whole
yeah.
other things that they can kind of
Yeah.
do. Probably kind of mirroring, they've seen sort of the success kind of with Dubai and thought, okay, well, you know, if we're going to make this a tourist attraction, we've got to, you know, sort of follow in that sort of stead.
Yeah.
And you moved to Dubai, right? That's where you went to school.
UAE.
What was school like?
It was nice. I mean, at first I had my challenges trying to fit in. Because obviously, like I said, I got bullied a lot for not looking Japanese, and people like didn't understand that nationality and ethnicity are two different things. So I had to like explain myself a lot. And it's like, because I was the only one with like a cool nationality, everyone knew that, oh, that's the girl with the Japanese nationality. So I couldn't hide that part of myself, you know?
Okay.
Because for many years, I used to just say, yeah, I'm from Palestine, I'm from Syria, because I look that, right? I look Arab. And just try and avoid having that conversation of, yeah, like I have a Japanese passport, because it would be like the center of attention.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I hated being the center of attention growing up. So
no, and especially kids, when you're sort of growing up, you know, you always, anything that was kind of different was always kind of laughed at or frowned upon, right? So my stepdad she's Chinese, and I never, growing up, it was always, you know, you'd get like bullied for it, or you were like, I didn't want to tell people. Now it's like, I think it's the coolest thing ever, and I tell everyone, you know, my stepdad's Chinese, had this whole like Chinese family, but growing up, you don't really want to be that outcast, so you just try and sort of like blend in. And I can imagine you saying you're from Japan. Really didn't sort of go down well.
Yeah, they would always be like, why don't you look Asian? Like, why don't you have Asian eyes? And I'm like, because I'm not Asian. I'm Arab. So yeah.
And the school you went to?
Here. I went to different schools, actually. I went to 3 different schools here in UAE.
Why so many?
They were all bad.
You were bad or they were bad?
A little bit of both. No, honestly, the first 2 schools I went to, I think that's where I get most of my trauma from. Like, they were just bad schools. Bad, very bad.
Okay.
But the last school that I went to, I have some of the best memories there. I graduated from there, so yeah, I had my friends, and yeah, it was cool.
So you said traumas at school.
Yeah, for sure.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so because I'm very loud and different.
I'd never guess that.
I'm very loud and different than other students. One of the teachers saw that like I might need therapy to like fix me or something.
Okay.
So I mean, I was okay with seeing a school counselor, like it was fine. But what was not okay is that this school counselor went and told my business to everyone. Yeah. So like I had major trust issues already, and now I have even more trust issues because Miss School Counselor decided to spill the beans to the entire school. Like all the teachers.
Really?
She even told like my mom, I think at the time, because I got in trouble for something in school and my mom had to come, and I found out my mom was told everything, and I'm like, oh my God. And instead of like having anyone be there for me or have my back, it was always like, oh, you're the bad kid, like poor, you know, your mom, like haram, like she has to deal with you, you know. It was not like my feelings weren't taken into consideration. Like, first of all, I trusted you telling you my business and how I felt, and then you went and told everyone and my mom, which that was confidential. It was supposed to be between us, but then for you to like take it against me, like what? That's crazy. That's honestly crazy.
So how have you dealt with that? Like,
I actually discussed it with like in therapy, because I made a promise to myself, because I had a lot of like built up emotions and trauma from growing up. I made a promise to myself, like the first full-time job I would ever get, I'm seeking therapy like immediately. I don't care if it's considered like taboo or Arabs are gonna look at me and think I'm crazy. Like you go to a doctor when you're sick, right? To get help, like medicine, because you're not an expert in everything. It's the same thing with mental health. Like you go to a therapist to deal with your issues.
100%.
And that's how you fix it. If you don't fix it, you're going to stay the same as you are.
So what are you saying? Saying sort of like in the Arab world, within the Arab community, seeking sort of mental health is not really something anyone speaks about?
Yeah, and I remember when I first told my mom, because my mom and I now are really close. So I remember telling her like, yeah, I'm going to start seeing a therapist, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, okay, cool. But just don't tell anyone. I'm like, what do you mean don't tell anyone? Like, what? It's just like, cool. Like, I'm just, instead of sharing like my feelings and my emotions with someone that probably won't understand me, I'm just going to go to a therapist and like, let all that emotions out, you know, and find a way to deal with it. It's not like that big of a deal. And she's like, yeah, just, you know, how people are, and just don't tell anyone, even your dad, like he's gonna, not take it so well. And I'm like, but why? And she's like, just don't. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever.
So do you still see a therapist now?
No, she broke up with me. She broke up with me, like, I think earlier this year, a bit last year, I want to say. She's like, you're good. Like, I gave you all the tools that you need to deal with life. So me continue to see her would be unnecessary, basically. That's what she said. She's like, I feel like you're dealing with issues like well, and you're good, so there's no point in seeing me anymore. And I was like, at first I'm like, how dare you? I'm like, ouch, how dare you? But no, it was for the better, honestly.
So what are some of the things that you sort of discuss in kind of therapy? Because for anybody sort of listening to it that's thinking about potentially going into therapy, they might be a little bit apprehensive about it. They don't know what to kind of expect. What is it? I'm sure it is slightly different compared to person, obviously, but how exactly does sort of like the process kind of work?
So for me, one of the first things that it took me a while to get used to when I first started seeing a therapist was that someone is listening to me. Like, you know, you go into, I don't know if you've ever been into therapy before or had a therapist, no?
I haven't, but one thing I did say to myself is one day I think it's so important. Like I would love to have a psychologist to kind of just understand, because I feel like you understand who I am and will make me understand why I do what I do, because we're all a product of the things that would happen to us, right? By speaking to a professional at that, also very like a neutral party, I think is important. And we'll jump into a little bit later, but I mean, I've got a coach, right? And I call him like my business psychologist. You know, someone that I can speak to about the challenges that I'm facing
in business.
Business. But I think it's super important to have the same in life.
Yeah, it is. For me, as someone that, you know, is the black sheep of the family, I always get hated on. I feel like nobody ever listens to me. Like they're there, but they're not there, you know? So with a psychologist or a therapist, when I sit down, she's like, yeah, so tell me how you feel. What do you want to discuss today? And it's like, she's all ears, attention on me, which I've never had that before. So it was odd at first, but it took some time for me to get used to, because at the beginning, I'm like, what am I going to talk about? So at first it started with me like discussing how my day was at work, because it was very stressful, very toxic environment at work. And then it led to like, for example, linking certain things that happened in the past into the present, that sort of thing, and really trying to just work on myself and see like where certain traumas are present now in my life. Yeah.
So you're saying a lot of the time it's, you know, it's more you kind of talking, and it's someone to listen to you speak. And I've always kind of thought that, and it's even like this with my coach, is a lot of the time I feel like we solve a lot of our own issues by speaking them through. You know, it's just something to speak them out loud. And once you have someone to speak them to, it's kind of like having a friend. You know, when you're going through something and you just verbal diarrhea, smashing at your friend. That's why friendships is so important.
Yeah. No, like in therapy also, like you have not just someone listening to you, but no judgments. So it felt like a safe space, really, because you, someone neutral, like you said, right?
Yeah.
I loved it, honestly.
And friends growing up? Do you have strong friends
Oh
growing
yeah,
up?
for sure. My best friend. Yeah, we've been through thick and thin together. Yeah, I love her. She's the best.
So school in Dubai, right? Now, you're only 22,
Yeah,
which
crazy.
does amaze me. 22 going on 32.
Yeah.
Right? Now, so you finished school then, because when do you finish school in Dubai? What age?
I want to say I was 17 when I finished
Finished
school.
at
Yeah.
17, right?
Yeah.
And what did you do after school?
University straight away. Yeah.
What did you study?
Marketing, business, obviously. Fun fact, I didn't want to go to university. I didn't want to continue high school. I wanted to drop out. I hated it. I was telling you even before, like I sucked at like getting good grades and it made me feel stupid and the teachers would make me feel stupid because my grades weren't good enough. But just because your grades aren't good doesn't mean that you don't like dissect the knowledge you learn.
Yeah.
Because I think like throughout school and university, I've taken everything and I applied it into my life. So just because I have bad grades doesn't mean that I'm an idiot. Like it doesn't define me or it doesn't define how smart I am as a person. So yeah, I hated it and I wanted to drop out. But you know, in the Middle Eastern culture, like you don't.
Is that why you went to uni? Because you obviously it's just part of.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to go to uni, but my parents' like mindset is like, you have to get a degree. A degree is going to guarantee you a job. There's no such thing as dropping out point blank. Period. Really, like nobody does that in the Middle East. So you're just expected to continue school and continue university, and then they try and get you married. I don't know, but yeah, that's how life is. Yeah.
That's how life
It's
is.
crazy.
Our family at school,
Yeah.
uni.
Especially with girls, like I don't know why, but like Arabs really want to like marry their daughters off so early. Like I see some girls get married and they haven't even continued their education. I'm like, okay, no judgment. If that's what you want to do, cool. But like,
So do you say it's difficult being an Arab woman?
sometimes, yeah, it has its challenges for sure.
What are some of those challenges?
Depends.
According to you.
Depends really. But for me, like I was always getting told what to do and I hated that. It's like, just leave me be. Like, I just want to do what I want to do. Like, don't you just want to see me happy and healthy and intact? But like growing up, I really felt like I struggled with depression because every time I would tell my parents like I was going through something difficult, my parents would be like, it's just lack of faith. You need to pray, go pick up the Quran, read some, Quran or whatever, and you'll feel better. But really, like mental health is one thing and then religion is another thing. So I'd say that's like my biggest challenge that I've gone through. And Arab culture, like people are very judgmental. Like I feel like a lot of people end up growing up being people pleasers and they don't do what like makes them happy.
They do for the family.
Yeah, and I don't want that. Like I literally sat down with my parents earlier this year and I was like, listen, I'm quitting my job. It's making me feel miserable. I hate it. And if I don't quit now, I will never pursue what I want to pursue ever in my entire life. Like I'll literally end up working 10 years in a job I hate. And then what? In 10 years, I'd probably be married, have kids. Like I don't want to live that miserable life, right? So I'm like, I'm going to quit now. But if I sit at home and you guys are going to do like try and marry me off or trying to set me in an arranged marriage or try and say comments like go get a real job or go get married or whatever it is that you're going to say that's going to upset me, like you won't see my face in the house. Like I'll be out and about every day. So I had to really sit them down and be like, hey, listen, like I've done what you guys wanted me to do all my life. Went to school, got good grades. Like I really worked my ass off in my senior year of high school to get good grades.
Yeah.
And it was still not good enough for my dad. I remember getting my report card and I think I got like 94%, like out of 100%. And this literally like took all my energy out, like entire senior year when people were having fun.
It's like, why didn't you get 100%?
Yeah, why didn't you get like 99% like everybody else? I'm like, everybody else is not me. I literally sat down and I studied, and I went to my friend's house and we would study. Like for the first time in my entire life, like I've put so much effort into studying and getting good grades. I'm like, I'm not gonna let you sit here and make me feel bad about it, because I really worked my ass off to get that 94%. So
you got the grades. You
I
got the good grades.
About uni, I studied what I wanted. I didn't let them pick.
Why did you study what you studied?
So it was between different things. Like I have a lot of hobbies, and I feel like I could do a lot of different things in life. So I didn't really know what I wanted to study, because in the beginning I didn't even want to go to uni. So first it was like, should I, study law, become a lawyer? Most of law schools here in UAE are in Arabic. And, you're in a Muslim country, so law is like Sharia as well, like Islamic laws. And that's quite different than like country's laws. So you have to study like Islamic laws and then the country's law. So I just found it to be quite difficult, because I was going to learn everything in Arabic. And I'm like, my Arabic is literally as good as it is, I don't want to like go and fail or like not continue this like major, because I feel like I would be really badass as a lawyer,
I just think so too.
Like I'm really good at debating. I'm good at public speaking, so I could only imagine myself being a lawyer, but I just felt like it was too much. And I'm very like creative, and it was between like fashion or interior design and media and public relations or marketing. Like it was
so super like creative.
Yeah, super creative. Yeah. And the one reason why I ended up pursuing like business, and I did work in PR, so honestly didn't lose anything not having a degree in media. But the reason why I didn't study like fashion design is because I didn't want to be criticized by some nobody.
Yeah.
Like imagine like a professor is like telling you to do like a design that you designed all over again from scratch because he thought it was trash or it wasn't good enough. Who are you? Are you like some designer or something? Like you're just a professor, like you're literally a nobody. So I just felt like it would make me hate my passion, and I wanted to like keep my passion to myself. I wanted to keep it like sacred.
But don't you find that the same thing happens to you on social media? You get criticized by people you don't...
By nobodies.
By nobodies. You get criticized by nobodies that have no validation for what they're saying. But I feel like that's life, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the difference between like university and I'd say like social media, like no famous person is going to sit and hate on my comments because they've got better places to be. It's literally people with no profile pictures and some weird fake username. Like, what are they gonna say? What are they saying that's gonna impact my life in a positive way or help me grow? Like, I don't mind people criticizing me. If you've got something to tell me, tell me. If I'm doing something wrong, like DM me. I'm always responding to my DMs. But it's more so like, oh, you have no personality. You look ugly. Oh, I don't know why her eyebrows look like that. Or, oh, I don't know why she wears her hijab like that. Like, who are you? Like, your opinion was unsolicited. I really could care less. Like,
so is that how you deal with it? Because, you would never think that. Me, when I came across your profile, and what intrigued me is it just, the confidence that you sort of exuded, what you were saying, it kind of seems like, those things don't bother you at all. But do they? Like deep down?
Right now, because I accept myself as I am and I love myself for who I am, it does not bother me. But you need to like take into consideration that I wasn't as confident as I am or as you see me today. I was an insecure girl. I was a heartbroken girl. I don't want to be in the victim mentality or like have a victim mindset. But I've gone through it all and I hated myself. I really hated myself, but I had to kill that version of me to become the better version of myself. And I continue to grow. So I'm not like gonna get stuck in the past. Like I had to really like overcome a lot of trauma and, deal with certain issues for me to get to this level now. So yeah, I wasn't always as confident at all. No, I got bullied. I hated certain things about myself. I wasn't comfortable, whatever. But now I'm like, I'm human. Nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes, you know? But on social media, obviously, because like everything is documented and it's like there. So you kind of gotta expect for people to give, whether it's good opinions or bad opinions. Like you're literally putting yourself in that position. So you kind of have to accept it. I mean, sometimes, yeah, people have a problem dealing with it or they don't take it so well. But sometimes really like, why are you wasting your energy into something negative?
Why do you think people are like that? I've always wondered, you know, why would you just sit on social media and troll somebody trying to be
I
better?
feel sorry for them sometimes. I really feel sorry for them sometimes because maybe, you know, they're jealous. They don't have the life that you have. Maybe there's like an insecurity in them and you're triggering it, you know? And it takes a wise person to sit and analyze themselves and like point out like within themselves like, yeah, this triggers me because of this and because this happened in my life. It takes someone like, so I don't know what's the right word, but you know, it takes someone strong basically
Yeah.
to like sit and really work on themselves.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people do that. No. You know the saying, hurt people hurt people?
Hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before,
Really?
but I can completely see that.
Yeah, because if you're not working on yourself and you're not bettering yourself always, it's always the people that have issues that cause issues for others. So it's always the traumatized people that traumatize other people.
Which is ironic.
Yeah. So yeah, it's crazy, but it is what it is. But yeah.
So you're quite into personal development then, would you say?
I got into it very young.
What is, because I'm big into it, right?
Yeah.
Now, what would you describe as, what is personal development?
I'd say just bettering yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, in every aspect in life. Growing for the better, you know, becoming a healthier version of yourself.
And what are you doing to promote that, to better yourself and become the best version of yourself?
I mean, obviously the main thing that I do on social media, which is like financial education, like always becoming financially literate, financial independence, that sort of thing. But also like, not just that, because that's one aspect of your life. I was actually going to make a YouTube video about this because I'm thinking of starting a YouTube channel. I was going to make it into like different series.
Okay.
Because developing yourself, it's like physical, which is external.
Yeah.
But then before the physical and external, you really have to work on yourself internally.
Yeah.
Like your mental health, your not physical, but your emotions, mindset. What else? Internally, even like your gut health, you know, like what you consume, everything.
All of it.
So all of like, if you start to work on yourself internally, then it's gonna show externally.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's gonna make it like different part series and really dive
into sort of each of those topics.
Yeah.
Because no, I'm a big believer in that. One of my main mottos is healthy body, healthy mind.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can't really have one without the other. You know? Because it's our bodies. We're so interlinked.
Yeah.
And you said it perfectly. And that personal development is a bunch of different things. It's becoming the best version of yourself. In order for you to become the best version of yourself, there's so much to it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like what you consume, like food wise, even what you consume, like what you listen to, what music you listen to, the people you surround yourself with. Because, you know, like if you have people hating in your ears, left, right, and center, haters, like you're going to feel so negative. And you're going to be like depressed. If you listen to depression, like sad songs, you're going to be so sad and depressed. So yeah, it's really what you put and what you consume, everything, like your ears, your mouth, eyes, what you see, like everything, every aspect that plays a role on how your overall health is. Yeah.
So you...
if you eat good, you're going to feel good, right? If you work out,
You're gonna look good, which means you look good, feel good,
exactly.
right? It's all one and the same.
Yeah. And it's the same thing. And I'm not saying it's easy and you can do it overnight. You can't. Like, it really takes so much time, so much effort, so much patience, so much strength to even like uncover certain things about yourself so that you can work on them and become better at them.
Do you read?
Yeah, a lot.
What kind of books do you like?
I started reading self-help books when I was 14. So I want to say that's where my personal development journey started. So I was quite young. And the reason being is because, you know how earlier I mentioned, like, I really struggled with depression. And every time I would go to my parents, they tell me, just go pray, go read Quran. For me, I was like, okay, if nobody's going to help me, and if I can't get a therapist now, I need to like find a solution to help myself, because I'm tired and I'm done feeling depressed and like helpless, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I was suicidal too, by the way. Like, it wasn't like just the normal depression. Like, I was really, really suicidal. Like, I really just didn't want to exist on this planet Earth. And now I say this with jokes because, like, you know, comedy is like I don't know. I like to joke about it. It's just my coping mechanism. I laugh about everything, so I don't, you know, take it too seriously. But I started to read books that young just to understand how the mind works, how people work, different personalities, so I could help myself get out of that misery that I was feeling.
And I think a lot of people can look to do that because that's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
You know, someone once told me that we're so lucky in the times we live in today. We have access to so much information, you know, online books, audio books.
Yeah.
We have so much information. And, you know, if you read these self-help books, it's like, I kind of see it as kind of like having a one-on-one consultation with the experts in that field.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to understand how does depression work and how can you get out of it, read a book on that.
Yeah.
Because it's like sitting there and having those conversations with those people.
Yeah.
If you're wanting to get fit, but you don't know how to do it, go read a book on it. You can read it. There's a book on literally every single topic written by specialists in that field.
Yeah.
So don't wait. You know, I think a lot of the time, we wait for other people to try and help us.
Yeah.
When we need to, first and foremost, got to help ourselves.
Yeah.
And self-help books, it says it in kind of what it is. It's the best way to do it, and it's accessible to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, no. And not just that, like, you're talking about books. Now people will be like, oh, but it's going to take a few days to get it delivered, or I have to leave the house. You have your phone. Everything is digital now. Like, you want a book, you just get the version of it, you know, everything's on your phone. So people just make excuses and they're just stuck on being in the victim mindset.
So do you have a book? If you could recommend any book, what's been a book that you'd say has changed your life? Because 5 a.m. Club by Robert Sharma, that was something which changed my life.
Yeah.
And I feel like I wouldn't be the person I am today without that. So what would you say is a book that's really sort of opened you up? And
it was The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson.
Gotcha.
Like the orange book.
Yeah, the orange book,
I think, it's helped me a lot. And now I'm like gonna reread it as well because it's been years since I've read that book.
You know how well that book did?
Yeah.
It was one of the highest grossing personal development books of all time. And, you know, so
The guy has a podcast.
No, he does, yeah.
I didn't know. I found that like earlier this year and I'm like, oh wow, like I'm gonna give this a listen because I loved the book. Like it changed my life for the better. So yeah, I started listening to his podcast, but I like Rob Dial's podcast, The Mindset Mentor.
Heard of it, never listened to it.
His voice is so like soothing. It's
perfect.
So that's why I'm like, I enjoy listening to that one more than Mark Manson.
Mm-hmm.
But I love Mark Manson because like the book is just 10 out of 10. So yeah.
So you finished your studies, you did well, you haven't been married off yet. Soon though.
No, I don't don't think so.
Got a couple options waiting for you.
No, no options. Zero.
So you're not going that way, right? So
I'm not against it, but I just haven't found the right person yet. You know?
how does it work? Let's actually go back to that. How does this whole arranged marriage thing work? Because in my eyes, arranged marriage is, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's your mom and dad, they find someone from like a family friend. They think, okay, cool, he's got a good job, would be a good fit. And then they say, cool, listen, here's your new husband.
No, it's not like that. No, I feel like people have a misconception about arranged marriages. Because, like the Arab world is so tainted negatively, I feel like, in the Western world. So, of course, like people just don't get the arranged marriage. But it's actually like not that bad. Like it's more so like, you live in a certain society, in the culture, and people know you're of age of getting married or whatever. And they'd be like, okay, yeah, let's check her out. Let's see if she's good for my son or whatever. It's usually moms that are like, doing it. I don't think dads, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to speak about my experience because I'm sure everybody's experience is quite different. But for me, it's more so like my mom and her friends and like their sons and that sort of vibe. And that's it, really.
So it's got this bad. So it's not quite as intense as what it sounds, because it sounds like it's this forced thing that you have to do. But at the end of the day, I feel like it happens no matter what religion or stuff you're in, because it's always like, if my mother and her friend, let's say she had a daughter, they would always say,
like
why did you guys meet him?
It's a blind date, really. But more so like, okay, yeah. First, like your mom and his mom are there, for example.
Yes.
And then if like you and the girl, for example, are like, vibing, whatever, then the whole family comes, or like then they'd let them kind of go out and get to know each other more and stuff like that. But then you have that parental approval already,
yes. Right.
And then the man in the family can suss the guy out.
And I also think why it could be a good thing is because your parents generally are going to have your best interest at heart.
Exactly.
Right? So they're actually going to pick somebody that is probably who you should be with, rather than, we in the world we live in, we let our own emotions, and generally speaking, I'm sure you've experienced it, I have, some of the girls that I've gone for are definitely not the ones that I should have gone for.
Yeah.
But so, by having your family kind of choosing that person, they're looking out for you, and it could actually be a really good thing.
And it's really like more so like a blind date. For example, like if you have friends and they know someone that, you guys might like vibe well together, they would introduce you, and it would be more of a blind date rather than arranged marriage, because it's just through mutuals. So it's the same thing. It's literally the same thing, except it's your parents or your aunt or your uncle or whatever. Like,
and it's not forced if you don't want to.
It's not forced, yeah, exactly.
And is that just with your family? Or
no,
is that,
in general, it should be like that.
It's not like a forced thing, because I think that's what arranged marriage has, like this forced connotation to it, right?
No, you can't force someone to marry someone that they don't like get along with.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's just not a thing. It's, I think, even haram for parents to force their daughter or their son to get married to someone they don't want to. It's sinful to force them. So it's just based on you, whether you like the person or not. You think you guys get along together. Because then again, like when you have your parents and like it's a formal setting,
yes,
you guys agree on what actually matters, rather than like in the Western world, people go around date and it's all fun and games, but you really don't ever discuss like what's important, because the whole point of dating is to get married.
Yes.
And if you guys are just dating, there's no point in that, right? Like you're just wasting each other's time. So you just kind of don't waste your time when your parents are
fast track.
Fast track. And like in this generation, I feel like it's even better if your parents sometimes try and find someone for you. Like it's not as bad as people think it is. Because like your dad and your brother, I have a dad and I have a brother, they can suss the guy out. I don't have to go through the trouble of sussing the guy out. If he's a cheater, if he's lying, if God knows whatever he's doing, like I don't gotta go through the trouble of that because my parents are there. You get
100%. And that actually,
it's
you know,
actually
I
every
think that-
girl's dream. If I
I think it's every father's dream to want to have that. I think I want to bring that into my family.
Yeah.
You know, one day have that arranged marriage because honestly, I see some of the girls that I know and some of the boyfriends that they have, and I just think, my word, if my daughter brought him home, I'd have an absolute hernia.
exactly. So it's like the same thing. Yeah.
So you not there yet, but you're super focused. You're a career woman. You're an entrepreneur, right? Now, how's that going for you? Because you recently quit your job working in
It's been
PR.
more than 6 months, I think.
That's still pretty recent. Well, in Dubai terms, especially. I mean, here in Dubai, you blink
Yeah.
and it's already going to be 2028, you know? So
Yeah, it's a fast moving.
it's so
city.
so fast moving. Time
Yeah.
just goes so quickly.
Maybe
so,
that's why I feel like it's been longer
you know?
because I've just been doing a lot.
So what are you up to?
I mean, I'm just really focusing on my social media. I'm focusing on my business, which I do trading and investing. I also help people get into the space. I feel like being a woman in the Middle East, being a Middle Eastern woman, a Muslim woman, I don't think a lot of women are well educated when it comes to like finance. So I want to make a positive impact and definitely help a lot of women in general.
And in terms of finances, help them how?
Here's the thing. A lot of women get married and depend on a guy, right? For like basically, yeah, financially. They depend on the guy financially, which is not wrong. But I feel like women should make their own money. Point blank, period. What if, like, God forbid, your husband passes away and you're just, you know, depending on him fully financially? Then what are you going to do? You don't have a college degree. Maybe some girls don't. You know? You don't know anything about working or getting a job or making money or whatever. You're going to get in trouble. Like, you're going to face a lot of challenges. What if he cheats on you? Because men these days...
And I'm sure that's quite big in like the Middle Eastern culture in terms
Not
of...
just Middle Eastern culture, like all men in general.
No.
Even in the Western world, like I see...
No, all men in general. I meant more women not being financially supporting themselves. Because a lot of the time, is it not, like you said, even with this arranged marriage situation, it's kind of like girls come in and they're like, okay, cool, I want to find a guy that can look after me, man, look after him.
Yeah.
They move into that or have kids. And then
either her husband is like, you know, financially taking care of her, or it's her father, or it's like a man in the house. But what if you don't have that? Then what? Are you screwed? No, like, you know, figure something out for yourself. It's crazy because, you know, and I don't know if Westerners can relate, but my grandma from my dad's side of the family, like she passed away, R.I.P. But I remember she didn't even continue school. So for my aunts, for example, to continue school and get a degree was a big deal. Like, you know, it's like an achievement. It's something to be happy and proud of. So imagine, like, for example, your mom not having a credit card or a debit card, or just have a bank account in general, or maybe not have a job, not ever have worked a job. So having these things and achieving these things would be like a big deal. So, yeah.
Looking at sort of helping change that. And
yeah,
yours is big
sure.
and I mean, you are super controversial because even crypto is a controversial topic in itself.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to talk finances, crypto and finances is super controversial.
Yeah. I'm all for AI and technology because that's where the future is headed towards. And I feel like crypto is just a snippet of that and where we're headed towards in the future. You know, like Black Mirror, the show, and how every episode is like different and some futuristic thing.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to reach a point in life where that show is going to become reality. And I hope I'm not living that decades ever, because it's just so scary. But if you can just see and like have a snippet of how future could look like I don't know, maybe 50 years down the line, it's gonna be very, very tech
How do you
futuristic.
see the future in 50 years?
You know, like those AI generated pictures that people make online and like how Dubai is going to look like 10, 20 years down the
Yeah.
line. And it's like there's flying cars.
Have you been to the
and-
future of the...
No, I haven't.
I've never...
The
how,
museum.
How have you not been there?
I know, right? It's like one museum I really, really want to go. Ever since it
Yeah.
opened, like I never got the chance to go. I'm always around it, but never been in it, you know?
Got you.
But yeah, I just think like future is AI and technology. And I mean, here in UAE, they approved flying cars. So it's only a matter of time that we're going to start seeing a car flying over. I'm like literally thinking between me and myself because I was stuck in traffic yesterday and it was really, really bad. And I'm like, I can't drive in traffic. Like Dubai traffic is just horrible. But I don't even want to get a driver. Like, let me just get a flying taxi or a flying car. I'm like, I want to be one of the first people to get a flying car. I'm like, sign me up. Whoever's in charge. I don't know who's in charge of it, but like, put me on. Because
That's it.
it's horrible. The traffic here is so bad. It's so bad. Every time somebody's like, do you want to hang out? Like, do you want to come to, because I don't live in Dubai, right? I live outside of Dubai. But everyone that are in Dubai and live in Dubai, they're like, oh, come, let's hang out on a Monday. I'm like, please, not on a Monday. Not on a Monday. Any other day during the week, I don't mind, but just not on a Monday.
That's why I like
Monday
the summer.
is so bad.
But that's why I love the summer, to be honest. That's the one beauty of Dubai summer. A lot of people complain
Yeah,
about is
people
no one's
travel.
here. I love a Dubai summer just from that perspective. No one's here.
Yeah, people are traveling and like the roads are a bit more chill, but it's still bad. On a Monday, it's still bad. Because, you know, it's the first day of the week and everybody's going to work.
100%. And you're all right. Technology and all of that it's going to change that. But so you kind of got into, you're in the crypto space, right? What you say it's the future, but why crypto? What is crypto?
It's digital currencies. That's like literally the gist of it. Yeah. You know, like paper money is not going to exist a few years down the line.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be like in museums, you know, like if you have kids in the future. Like, oh my God,
Remember
Dad
that?
used to
It's like
use that. Like to pay. No, like it's not going to exist. I was having this conversation with my dad. I'm like, listen, you might think crypto is a scam. You might think crypto, like the money's not real because it's not physical. We are going to live in we are already living in a digital era.
Yeah.
But think of it times 10. That's how the future is going to be.
Yeah.
When there's like AI, robots everywhere. Like you have self-driving cars here.
Yeah.
Teslas all the time. That's AI.
So you say you within crypto, you trade in crypto.
Yeah, crypto's cool because like if you know how to invest into crypto, I'm not going to even get into trading because some people might find it really complicated. But if you just invest into crypto like any other asset that you invest in,
Yeah.
and if you
how do
know
you know
when
how
to
do, how
get
do you
in,
know how do you know, because there's so many coins these days, there's so much, how do you know where to get in and how do you know when to get in?
I'd say do your research, like really educate yourself about it. And if you don't want to like dive so deep about it, at least like there's really good resources out there to just know like what are the top 10 or 20 cryptocurrencies today.
Yeah.
You could just invest into those and that's you're being on the safe side.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I'm not telling you to go invest in meme coins because that's quite risky especially for someone that does not know anything about cryptocurrencies. Like the safest investment is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, like the top coins that are, you know, they have ETFs now for those as well.
Yeah.
So it's really safe. Like if big financial institutions are getting into it, and those same financial institutions, if you look back like 10, 20 years ago, they used to say like crypto's a scam, it's going nowhere, but now they're investing in it. What does this tell you? Like the
Matter of time.
Yeah, the future is like, there's going to be something big that's going to happen. Same governments too, like now governments, a lot of countries, they're changing their laws, they're changing their regulations, just so like crypto can become legalized. What does this tell you? Like those same politicians that used to say crypto's a scam, it's going to go nowhere, and now they're investing into crypto. What does this tell you? That something big is going to happen, and we're like literally witnessing it. Because everything is digital now. You can see everything like Trump talking about something, like it's going to be viral everywhere on social media. So you are seeing everything that's happening, but you're just choosing not to like
But isn't it still
believe it? I don't know.
super volatile though? Because I mean, wasn't it just the other week crypto dropped like 10%.
It is more volatile for sure in comparison to other markets because, other markets have been there for decades and ages in comparison to crypto because crypto is still relatively new. Like it's not as old as like the stock market or the foreign exchange market. But then, a few decades down the line, I don't think people would be making money from crypto anymore. There's going to be like the next big thing.
So then you're into crypto. I know I've heard you sort of mention before you have a mentor.
Yeah.
That sort of, how did you find this mentor and how has this mentor helped you?
Online, everything online, imagine. That's crazy, right?
You would never think, eh?
Yeah. Even like when I started my business, everyone that I was working with was all over the world because of social media and because like it's digital. Only have I started building in Dubai recently after I quit my job.
Yeah.
Because I've been really focused on that. I'm like, I'm here. I want the people here.
Yeah.
Not that I'm against working with people online or all over the world, but it gives you all that opportunity to build in countries that you've never imagined having a business in.
Yeah.
Or even reaching, let alone.
And is this a crypto, what is this business that you run?
Just really helping other people get into the crypto space, learning about the financial markets, learning about how to, be financially free or financially independent. But yeah, going back to how I met my mentor, it was on TikTok. Like I was just doom scrolling one day and everyone's talking about crypto and I'm like, I'm a business student. My professors don't know nothing about crypto.
Yeah.
And if I'm a business major and I don't know what crypto is, no other major or like no other student in other major or other fields is going to know what crypto is. It's like, really, I took it upon myself to educate myself about it. And she was at the time doing like free online courses about crypto.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, let me do it because I've got nothing to lose. It's free. Like I'm not paying money for courses. And I really learned a lot, because before that, one whole year I was researching on my own and I lost money in crypto and I invested into crypto and like all of this stuff. And it was not gonna lie, not easy to learn it properly by myself, but just having that coach, earlier we were saying business coach, having a mentor that helps you, that's been in the industry for longer than you have, that has the right tools and resources to help you, does make it easier for you, for sure. And that's how I got started. Like after that free course, ended up buying her courses. And
so anybody that's looking for help, how can they get in touch with you?
Or just DM me on Instagram. Like I'm always responding to people's DMs. Even if you're a bit skeptical, you can like ask me questions. I always get on Zoom meetings with people. And if they're in Dubai, I always meet them in person. Because, there's a lot of fake accounts. There's a lot of scams. So how can you tell if I'm real or not? Ask me for a voice note. Ask me out for a Zoom meeting. Like I would literally show my face and make you hear my voice to make you feel comfortable, make you feel like, yeah, this is actually me. Because I've had a fake account where they were using AI to pretend that it was me. It was scary, not gonna lie. Like it's gotten to that extent where they were using AI to like copy me.
Yeah.
Because I had my voice from my videos and they were sending voice notes with my voice. But the voice wasn't as good. Like it sounded alienated. So I'm like, I would never talk like that. So I like posted about it on my story and I was like, guys, be careful.
Cool. So that's where they go. Just DM you and you'll be out sort of to help. Yeah. Now, I've got a final sort of question, which I ask everyone that comes onto this podcast. And the question is, what does escaping normal mean to you?
Escaping the normal, doing something different, being outside the box, not taking the normal route that like your friends and family are taking or like the society, that's like being outside the norm. I'd say I'm the black sheep of the family, so I know what I'm saying. I'm quite controversial. Yeah. Amazing.
Well, listen, we're out of time actually. I can see the guy standing here very impatiently. So listen, thank you so much. It was a pleasure getting to know you, getting to understand you. I think you've got an incredible future ahead of you. And there's no doubt with you only being 22, wow, Dubai doesn't know what's about to hit them. So can't wait for us to jump on another podcast in the near future and see of all the things that you've got up to, and let's see whether cryptocurrency is a scam or not.
That's not for sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.